So we're naming our starting 11. We've called it funniest starting 11. I don't know, least memorable. I don't know. But essentially, what I think it is that everyone remembers the great players of the era. You know, the Shearers, the Nevilles, the Yorks. I've realised that only one of them is actually plural. Everyone even remembers the worst players, the Ali Dia. But I mean, who's out there remembering the run-of-the-mill average players? It's us. So that's the type of player we want in our team. And so far we've got Espen Bardson, we've got Vegard Hegem at right back, and today we're reminiscing about left backs. We're going to come up with 2 suggestions each, and then eventually we'll pick one to go in our team. So let's get started. Do you want to go first, Gareth?
It's actually your turn to go first this week because I've been first the last time, but we set a rule last time, which is because we've had 2 Norwegians so far that have retired early. I don't know what age Stig Inge Bjorneby retired at, but I think he's been ruled out.
And also, he got mentioned last week, which means that it's not nostalgic to mention him anymore. We only talked about him last week.
That's true, yeah.
Right then. So my first pick is going to be Julian Dix. Some players you just remember for name, but he was a bit of a hard man.
You see, Julian Dix, even being at West Ham, the club sort of fitted him as well. He was perfect for that club.
They had Slavan Bilic at the back as well.
He had a pretty good left foot on him, a cultured left foot.
That's why I'm suggesting him for left back here. I've just looked up his Wikipedia to see if there's anything interesting. Let's see if he does or does not have a personal life, which, as we know, the best part of Wikipedia page. Bit of stuff about marriage, divorce, don't really care about that. This is the goal we're looking for. After retiring as a footballer, Dix took up golf and soon turned professional, but was forced to give this career up due to his knee injury and the realization that he did not have the ability to win tournaments. And after that, went on to run the Shepherd and Dog Public House near Colchester. Knee injuries normally is why a lot of people give up football, isn't it? But golf, wow. But the realization that you're not that good, that's a good reason.
Well, I wouldn't say he's an unforgettable footballer, but can't imagine he won anything as a player.
I don't know, but he was, of course, nicknamed the Terminator. All good reasons why he should be included. So who are you going to put forward?
Actually, I'll need to have a rethink because Julian Dix was one of my picks. So I'm going to go for Alan Wright.
Oh, Alan Wright.
Dependable Aston Villa left-back of many years.
Did he ever play for Liverpool to make that up? I don't know. I need to look up Alan Wright.
Yeah. I think Julian Dix played for Liverpool, did he not?
For like 1 season, I think. And then he went back to West Ham, yeah.
Alan Wright's one of these guys that he was there for years. I don't know if he ever played for England. He may have been a victim of Graham Lassau's success.
Going by the rule of pronouncing it the way it looked as per 90s commentary, when I was young, called him Graham Lasocks.
Of course, yeah. Sorry, my mistake.
Alan were right. He did not play for Liverpool. He played 260 games for Aston Villa from 95 to 2003 and picked up 2 under-21 England caps. I'm sorry to say he's not got any personal life, so that might go against him.
I was hoping there'd be something in Alan Wright's personal life that I didn't know, because he was one of these kind of quiet footballers. Like, I wouldn't know what he sounded like, so it's a bit disappointing that there's nothing in the personal life. Left backs then, my second pick. I'm going to go for Alessandro Pistone.
He was on my long list. In fact, he might have been my third pick, so I'm glad you said him. What always struck me about Pistone is he had the hair of a forward player.
I kind of get what you mean. He was too classy for a 90s left back. Do you know how we've spoken in the other episodes about like mullets on Kevin Hitchcock? Like Nelson Vivas had the kind of black trim on the Arsenal strip. Whether either of those were true, I think we dispelled the myth of the Hitchcock mullet. Right, this is a really weird one, but if it's true, it's amazing. But in my head, Alessandro Pistone has a sort of sharp earring, kite-shaped, or like maybe like a sword-shaped earring.
Any idea during what club? Like Sheffield Wednesday or who?
I'm thinking of it Everton days.
Oh.
Did he play for Sheffield Wednesday?
No. Sorry. Got mixed up with Benito Carboni, who now mentioned. I would have thought they would have had to put a little bit of tape over it, as they did.
Yeah. It could have been Materazzi that I'm getting mixed up with the earring, but it's either him or Pistone.
No evidence of an ear in there. We might have to leave that one.
Wow. What about a sort of dangly cross?
I'm looking very closely at their ears and can't even see any tiny holes.
Man.
Have to fill that one away with Hitchcock's mullet. What a character we're creating of the missing parts of 90s footballers.
So if there's any illustrators that want to draw this team for us, Kevin Hitchcock with a mullet, Pistone with the earring.
Are they drawing Hitchcock with a mullet and Pistone, or are we amalgamating all the missing one face?
I want to see them separately and then put together into one super obscure 90s footballer.
All right, well, here's the deal. If we don't get anything back from an illustrator, at the end of this series, I will draw this for you. I'm not having Kevin Hitchcock in there now. Later on, we should make a late substitution.
We could have the cult team of our podcast.
Yeah, because the great thing is Kevin Hitchcock's only cult with this. He's not actually cult in real life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Kevin Hitchcock's fake mullet.
We just have the imaginary 11, like Alec Cleland's hair, Alessandro Pistone's earring.
I can't wait for Hot Halloween to come back around. No. Leland, who are you? Is it not obvious? They're going to be selling Kevin Hitchcock mullets down your corner shop.
Yeah. And if they stand near one of those things you used to get in science at school, you know, those electric balls that you hold on to and your hair goes up, then it can become the Alec Cleland haircut. In small print on the back, must have access to a school science department.
And if I went as Kevin Hitchcock, they just think I was Pat Sharp. Right. So I'm going to go for Maurizio Tarico.
Oh, yes, that's a really good one.
Yeah, I always remember he made the move from Ipswich to Spurs. Sort of international player moving domestically. What a thrill back then.
Yeah. Did he play lower level at Ipswich?
He would have got promoted probably, but he must have been in the old second division or first when the Premier League was there.
Was it Tarico or was it Tarico?
Well, Tarico, if we're doing our rules. Also Mauricio. 137 games for Ipswich, 130 for Tottenham. So, you know, reliable, steady player.
Yeah.
I've got no personal life for him, but since playing football, he's been an assistant manager, right? He's always been assistant to one manager. I don't know if you already know who it is. I'm going to give you the clubs and see if you can work it out.
Right.
So, Brighton and Hove Albion, Sunderland, AEK Athens, Real Betis, Shanghai Shenhua, and then Bordeaux.
Yeah, well, I think it's the person that was in my head, actually, even before you said any of the clubs. Is it Gus Poyet?
It is Gus Poyet.
Gus Poyet, sorry.
Stick by the rules. And to be fair, I was with it for Brighton and then Sunderland, but then I had no idea Gus Poyet had went round Athens, Betis, Shanghai, and Bordeaux after that.
What was that Spanish club you said there?
Real Betis.
Betis, I think, is how it's pronounced in the 90s, yeah.
Betis, yeah. Let's do a long list. So who else you got on there, Gareth?
Well, you did complain, well, perhaps the last two times, that I've nicked all your picks, so I think it's your turn to go for the long list.
Okay, great. Well, there's not that many left, only three, because we've mentioned Pistone, we've ruled out Bjornaby. Actually, just two. I've got Scott Minto.
That's a good one, yeah.
And I've got Tony DeRigo.
Yeah, DeRigo was on mine. I didn't have Scott Minto, though. That's a pretty good one.
Now you're buying into it. I regret not putting it in my two picks, but who else you got there?
The rest of my list, I've got Lee Sharp. Bit mainstream, but I thought there would have been plenty in the personal life, but I feel like we know a lot of it, like the Love Island and all that stuff.
True.
Callum Davidson, the second Dunblane resident to be mentioned on the show so far. John Beresford. I feel like John Beresford, we mentioned Warren Barton in the last episode. I think John Beresford had pretty similar hair to Warren Barton. Like, it was like right and left back of Newcastle at that point, had these sort of blonde flowing locks.
For some reason I just started thinking about Ben Thatcher. Was he a left back?
He's a left back, yeah.
Because that's Warren Barton and Ben Thatcher would have been the Wimbledon fullback.
Newcastle had a type, didn't they? And Wimbledon had a type. You have beautiful hair to play fullback for Wimbledon or Newcastle.
Imagine if the managers were just like, who's your type? Like, he's my type, he's not my.
Other than that, we had Justin Edinburgh.
Justin Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Growing up, I always loved his name. We're from near Edinburgh, and just the name Just, and I'm just in Edinburgh now.
His nickname was Musselburgh.
It's just in Edinburgh. So what have we got? I've given you Julian Dixon, Maurizio Tarico, and you've given me
Alan Wright and Alessandro Pistone.
I'm ruling out Alan Wright. I do like the sound of Pistone. I feel like Pistone and Tarico are filling the exotic foreigner roles. So I don't know, who do you prefer out of the two?
Who was your first one again?
Julian Dix.
You see, Dix is quite cult, isn't he? So maybe that goes against what we're going for. Well, you see, Pistone has an imaginary earring. So we're struggling for personal life information here, so the earring might have to sway it.
It's true. Tarico, all he did was followed Gus Poyet everywhere. But Pistone, for me, is quite iconic as well in his own way, even though I got him mixed up with Benito Carbone for most of the chat.
You see, it's Carbone that you're thinking of. He's the
right.
profile one.
You're right, and Pistone always had to live in his shadow, so let's go for Pistone.
Perfect. Yeah, if we ever need to write a limerick about Benito Carbone, then at least we've got one of the other lines sorted.
Amazing. He's gone in the team. Happy?
Happy with that. Alessandro Pistone and the imaginary earring at left back.
Perfect.